Good morning. I'd like to get us started this morning. My name is Olin York. I'm the organizer of the West Virginia Innovation and Business Model Competition. This morning, this is the final phase of the WVIBMC for 2024. This is a demo event. Our students are going to be pitching to a group of interested stakeholders, as you can see aligned here across the front. This includes Jeremy Turner of Appalachian Investors Alliance. A little round of applause for Jeremy. Professor Kevin Levine from the Lewis College of Business at Marshall University. And the distinguished J. Deacon Stone from MU Advanced Manufacturing here at Marshall University. These fine stakeholders will help us assess whether we can provide additional resources in various forms, including additional monetary resources from the various funds that we have available to us. So welcome to our demo event, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to introduce the first participant this morning. That would be Marshall University's Jonathan Hale. He will be presenting on a concept called Sleepy Pause.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Hale with Sleepy Pause. While it's different for everyone, we all have that one favorite TV show. In the age of streaming, that TV show is anywhere and everywhere you want it to be. But have you ever gotten to the best part of that TV show, and bam, only to spend half an hour the next night trying to find the place you fell asleep? Well, I definitely do. It may take me a week to make it through one episode because by the time I turn on the TV, I'm already in bed. And by the time I spend about 15 minutes in bed, I'm already asleep. Well, then I spend more time the next day trying to figure out where I fell asleep during the show than actually watching the show. Well, now there's a solution, Sleepy Pause. Most major tech companies already have smartwatches that use the information about your movement, heart rate, and breathing patterns to determine when you fall asleep and when you wake back up. As of 2023, the smartwatch market was already well over 200 million users worldwide. In the US alone, it had already exceeded $46 billion. According to Forbes, 99% of Americans already subscribe to at least one streaming service. As of 2024, 100% of Americans still need to sleep. Currently, the watches collect the data, then send it on to the health app on your phone. We would just continue that flow of information onto the Sleepy Pause app and onto your favorite streaming service. Once the health app uses that data to know when you are no longer awake and you have entered either REM or core sleep, then we can connect that moment with the moment in your TV show, and then you can decide what you want the app to do. The four basic functions would be to pause, where it would just pause the show and stop there. Bookmark, where it would keep playing your show, but add a bookmark so that you can come back the next day and find it. Volume, where it would keep playing, but turn down the volume. Or finally, switch to a calming TV show, your favorite music channel, or even something to help you get better sleep, like white noise. As far as how we're going to make money with the idea, it can either be licensed or acquired by one service as a reason to use their service instead of other options, or we could make the pause function part of the free app and make the others premium paid options, or make the pause and bookmark functions part of the free app and leave the others as premium paid options. So what's next for Sleepy Pause? Well, there are two directions we'd like to go. First, to narrow the focus and pursue a customer-facing service by rebranding as DreamStream, and broadening the focus to the Sleep Smart ecosystem to focus not only on just controlling smart TVs, speakers, but also locking your doors, turning off lights, turning off dangerous appliances you may have left on before you fell asleep, and maybe even just making sure that your vacuum cleaner doesn't start before you wake back up the next morning. I hope you all join me in downloading Sleepy Paws. I do that every time, sorry.
Thank you. Now that you walked here, I could just talk directly to you, right? Well, I think this is fascinating, and one of the wrinkles is like, where's the money, and who has the interest in the money and access to get some revenues to support this? You mentioned licensing, which I think kind of would require IP. So, two-branched question there. Like, who's the stakeholder? Where are the revenues? Where's the kind of currency that puts fuel in the tank? And then, what would licensing look and feel like? Have you looked into that?
So to answer the first one, who would benefit from it? Who kind of are the stakeholders? First, in the age of convenience, we're trying to knock off all the hard edges of the world. And so both users look towards apps that kind of do that. And then a lot of people monetize it through advertising. And so generally there's that stream. Then there's also the value that you're adding in time is one of the few things that you can't just go out and buy. And so rather than trying to buy an hour of your day, well, this might save you an hour of that day. And so people will see a value there and maybe want to pay a small fee, $2, $3 for a service like this, especially when they're already paying $10, $15, $20 for many of the streaming services.
So that's direct to you in that case.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, there's also some of those streaming services, not all of them, but they pay per view. So that's one of the reasons that Netflix added that "Are You Still There" screen, so that they could actually cut down on playing videos or movies that they're paying per stream if nobody's watching or benefiting from that. So this would also benefit the companies that are paying for those licenses on a per view structure, and so it would help them as well. Now on the licensing, basically it's the technology to connect those two would be what would be proprietary. And so you're right, there's absolutely a little bit of an uphill battle to make sure that that's protected, that that already some of the big players in the tech world don't muscle you out of there. But with careful protection and a good IP attorney, I think you should be able to protect your concept enough to then be able to market to them, and they see the value of working with you rather than trying to compete with you.
Fantastic, thank you.
Okay, very nice presentation. I have a question. This goes back to when you were working on your business model itself.
Yes, sir.
What kind of experimentation did you use?
So the very first thing that I think you might have heard this before when I was kind of working with a couple of the professors in refining this idea was it really started out with the bookmark function. Really, in my idea, just I wanted to know where I'd fallen asleep. And so then in research and talking with both, industry and the industry that I actually work in, and then also university, people kind of different age groups, I asked them a number of different questions. So it's basically market research on what would you want it to do. And each of the next functions kind of came out of a lot of those interviews of, well, hey, really, maybe I don't want mine to bookmark. I don't want it to keep playing and then accidentally catch the cliffhanger or the end of a TV show or wake up 4 episodes later and see something I shouldn't have seen. So market research was mainly where kind of the app was built out.
As far as that goes, just face-to-face interviews?
Yes, sir.
Okay, about how many people were in your interviewee group?
Really, probably not nearly as large as it should have been. Probably 3 dozen. You're well less than 25 to 50.
Okay, thanks.
Hey. So oftentimes business ideas like this begin as a problem for the individual that comes up with the idea, right? This is something that bugs you, so therefore you develop a solution to solve an issue that you have. The key in creating a sustainable business then is seeing, can your problem translate into a greater population where the problem is such that it's painful enough that people will seek a solution, and then more than that, that they'll actually part with their hard-earned cash, that they'll break away from their previous set of behaviors and switch to this new option, and then for the sake of your business, actually pay money, right? So
That's the goal.
yeah, otherwise it's an expensive hobby. So what do you see as next steps for you to move from where I assume that at present you're at 0 customers, moving from 0 to 1? What do you see as next steps to further validate that this actually is a problem that's painful enough that people will pay for it, and move yourself from 0 to 1 customers? The part B of this question is, or maybe it's a speech at this point. So how do you move from 0 to 1 with the idea that if you're seeking at some point to be acquired by a big company, you need to prove significant traction in the market such that they would be willing to give some of their hard-earned money to you in exchange for the solution you developed?
Absolutely. Could you repeat the first part of that question, though? I'm sorry, the part one.
How are you going to move from 0 customers to 1 customer, and then how will you move from 1 to a significant amount such that you would be attractive for an acquisition?
So effectively, the first round I'm batting about 90% now on in conversation with people that would actually use this service. About 9 out of 10 see a value in it, would download it, would use it at some point. Now, how do you go from that 0 to 1? What would that phase 1 look like? Is firm selection on building out the app. So at this stage, effectively, I've met with some firms, spoken with, hey, how easy is it to do this? And it's, again, I think everything's easy at the quoting phase. And so obviously getting in with firm selection, making sure that it was somebody that was serious enough to see the value in it, build it out the way it needs to then market it to the bigger players that really will see the most value in it. I think it would be very easy to move from that 0 to 1, but then scaling up past that is going to be the next hurdle. And I think that choosing the right partners to work with at stage 1 is really what would make sure that happens in the future of this idea.
Are we allowed to ask more than one question? One question?
One final question.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Going back to what Deacon said on the licensing, I mean, me being an IP guy, to me, it looks as though you have a couple unique opportunities. I mean, let's face it, does anyone need this service from the standpoint, or this feature from the standpoint of, where do I leave off on my TV show? No, okay, just brutally honest. But on the safety aspects, to me, from a licensing standpoint, if this is truly something that's proprietary to you, that's something that I think you could really, do a push type of marketing directly to the consumer. If I can, make sure to go back to your illustration, my curling iron is off, to where it really incorporates kind of the smart home type of thing. To me, that seems like that would be, not to take anything away from the convenience aspect of television, but to me, that seems like a really bigger piece of the pie.
Safety coordinators and safety men rule the world. And so absolutely, I think pursuing that avenue and leaning on the value that it creates for companies from a liability management perspective, I think absolutely. And so that's one of the things that in this idea, everybody kind of has another suggestion of what they want done when you fall asleep. And so I think in this age of technology, it's effectively just going to be drawing lines between those. And so that's one of the reasons that really that needs to be built out almost parallel to kind of the convenience feature, because it just, now we have the ability to know when we've fallen asleep. And so now basically the ideas are limitless on what we can do with that. And so pursuing the safety avenue is absolutely a good avenue.
Thank you, Jonathan. Well done presentation. On Olin, I should mention, Jonathan was our first place winner last night in the finals competition where we award cash prizes. He will receive a minimum of $3,000, so congratulations once again. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. Fourth. It's been a long couple days, folks. I'm sorry. Apologies to CJ and Dom. Up next, representing West Virginia Wesleyan, is Tyreek Crutchfield. He has a new venture concept called GIN, G-I-N, and he is tackling a very big and significant problem. Please welcome Tyreek up.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. My name is Tyreek Crutchfield. I'm a driven business administration major with a passion for finance and technology from West Virginia Wesleyan College by way of Atlanta, Maryland. I am the visionary behind GEM. So I want to introduce you to our product, GEM, Genesis Investment Management App, crafted to empower minority investors with the tools and insights necessary to navigate the financial markets. Our mission is simple: to democratize investment opportunities. So what's the problem? This is the problem. I want to start off by saying I'm a part of that problem. I'm a young African-American kid, young man at this point. I keep saying kid, but young man who has grown up without the knowledge of what the market is and how to use it. Same for my family and grandfather. They had no clue. This $1 million to $142,000 difference, that's a problem. That's a problem that we can fix. You give an opportunity for different ethnicities and families to learn how to use the market and keep that knowledge, we fix that problem. And that's what we're trying to do. When you look at the number of families that have brokerage accounts, white families have 55%, blacks 25%, Latinos 15%, and others 5%. Our solution is to create this app to simplify investing for the average retail investors. We want to be able to create a 3-tiered risk plan method to aid investors in diversifying their portfolios with top companies that offer stable returns. Now, I know what you're thinking. Don't we already have these things? You can use a high-yield savings account. That's fine. 5% is beautiful. But to be able to get that $1 million to 142 to get close to even bump it up 30%, 5% won't do it. We got to be able to hit 12, 9, 15, those different numbers. We're aiming to empower the everyday retail investor to be able to have the same mind as Warren Buffett, Kathy Woods, or Robert Smith through education. We have to educate the people on why it's important to have these returns. The market for this is really large. We all know that. Everybody wants to make a buck. Everybody wants to save money. Young professionals, 20 to 30s, they're looking to seek new, fresh ideas to grow their wealth. Mid-career professionals, 30s to 50s, they're looking to have more exposure to less risky but also innovative solutions. Pre-retirees, 50 to 60, they're looking to maximize. Retirees, they're looking for supplement their income. What do we need? We need funding. To get this done, we're going to need that. $5,000 to $10,000 to initiate development of the app. We need strategic partnerships to help with education and to join with organizations to help expose the minority people to this app. And of course, we're going to need marketing to be able to compete with YouTube and Reddit and all these different financial apps. Thank you for your time.
I'll take first again, if that's okay. This is dynamic. It's a real problem, as you've shown, which means it's a real opportunity for some significant improvement. It's a complex arena, and as such, I think kind of the slides probably shouldn't be so complex. There's an old story of a fellow really excited about his business plan, and he finally gets some time with this, mentor investor he wants to pull the ear of. And the guy hands him his tome back and says, could you kind of cut that in about half for me? As the story goes on, he gets him to further cut it down until he fits his business on a piece of paper. And we know a great idea can come from the back of a napkin and go up. In these cases, sometimes they come from this complex arena, and we need to distill it down to that spirit, that soul of what it is. And it's in there, I see it. So that distillation process won't be complicated. From a mechanical standpoint, there's simply not enough time for us to take in the information that's on the slide. I have to look to what you're saying as a summary, but I'm still trying to read it. That's a little bit confusing. So that's my constructive feedback on that. Yeah, okay, I'll leave it at that.
Hey, thank you for sharing, bringing some light to this issue that, as Deacon said, is a huge issue. Many of us know it. I think I understood you to say that there are multiple different markets you were looking at, right? As you try to get this started, where's going to be your focal point? The reason being, when you focus on everything, you focus on nothing, and you're going to need a very targeted approach to really break into the market and create any kind of momentum that you can then build upon and begin to add different markets towards as you gain traction. Where's your starting point?
Absolutely. So the starting point will definitely be on the education aspect, right? So being able to expose people, that's the first thing. And the reason why I say that, because I am in these communities. We want to know what's going on. We want to understand what the market is. But when you go in there, it's like crazy terminologies that we just don't understand. So we can have a place to go to that simplifies it. Places like YouTube, you have Earn Your Leisure. They're a minority-owned, really popular in our community, where they simplify it, but it's still not simplified enough. They tell us what it is, but when we get to the application, we don't know what we're doing still. So if we have something that can help that, that's what so the education aspect, being able to show the videos, having somebody within that app be able to explain to you why the market's going up, why it's going down, why this portion of my portfolio is looking sloppy, you'll get that education aspect from the app.
I agree very nicely to see you bring this issue to the forefront. Who do you see as your primary competitor or competitors when you enter the market?
Yeah, absolutely. So of course, you're going to have the already established companies like Charles Schwab, Morgan Stanley, Robinhood, and stuff like that. But what they're all missing is the education aspect. There is no explanation. You have to read a white paper. You have to do, you have to put it in writing. And something that I'll tell you, something my grandfather told me, him growing up, they used to say, if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. So if you put it in a video and you make it short, concise, and simple, we gravitate towards that. When you look at TikTok, the trends, all these things that are growing in our community today for everybody of all ages, that's the culture.
I'm going to steal one more question. I apologize. One more. I apologize. Assuming that this, takes off, do you see an opportunity at some point or a desire, to expand beyond the black community
Yes.
into other areas?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're aiming to hit all of those communities that are not within that 1 million. You know what I mean? From blacks to Latinos, Asians, Pacific, it doesn't matter. Anybody that doesn't touch that, even the people that live in West Virginia, the low-income people, we'll be able to use that app. We want to hit anybody that doesn't have the basic knowledge of the market. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyreek. Very good presentation. And now that Professor Levine is at his limit for over questions, I Now give Jay Deaconstone and Jeremy Turner the freedom to.
You're like -1 question, Julie. I wanted to ask another one too. I trailed off at the end.
All right. Our next competitor is Brittany McKnight from Shepherd University with Sagittarius Aesthetics. Brittany placed third last night in our competition, so I'd like to welcome Brittany to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brittany McKnight, and I am the founder of Sagittarius Aesthetics, which is an in-home-based esthetician studio that will be located in Inwood, West Virginia. So from a young age, I've always grappled with various skin concerns, ranging from dryness and rosacea to sensitivity and acne. It wasn't until my 20s that I delved into this world of skincare, seeking ingredients tailored to my specific needs. However, as time had passed, my focus shifted towards anti-aging. I wanted to prevent wrinkles and fine lines and maintain a youthful, radiant complexion. Yet I still found myself really overwhelmed by the quantity of products available and unsure what would truly complement and help my skin. That's when I decided to seek guidance from a local esthetician. And that moment marked the beginning of my skincare journey, ignited by a passion to assist others in achieving their skincare goals. Some of you might be wondering what exactly an esthetician is. An esthetician is a licensed skincare professional dedicated to helping clients improve the look and feel of their skin by offering treatments and recommendations to improve the health and appearance of the skin. There are numerous advantages to consulting with an esthetician. Estheticians are highly knowledgeable in cutting-edge skincare techniques and products. They consistently stay updated on industry trends and can recommend the most effective treatments and products for your skin. Their expertise ensures that you receive the best possible care. At Sagittarius Aesthetics, I thoroughly assess your skin to determine your skin type and identify the most effective treatments for your specific needs. I consider the overall health of your skin and address your primary concerns to devise a personalized plan of action. Recognizing that skincare is not one size fits all, I strive to deliver tailored services to each client, ensuring they achieve optimal results and feel confident in their skin. Sagittarius Aesthetics offers a diverse array of services, including various facials, chemical peels, hair removal, and dermablading. Each of these services are customized to address individual concerns, ensuring a personalized and effective skincare experience. Here you will see the global anti-aging market, valued at approximately $62 billion in 2021, is projected to reach around $93 billion by 2027. My target demographic encompasses both men and women aging from mid-20s to mid-30s. Individuals within this range express heightened concerns regarding anti-aging, fine lines, and wrinkles. I myself can relate to these concerns as someone within this age bracket. Now, my own journey led me to seek an esthetician's expertise, and now I am dedicated to addressing these same concerns for each of my clients. Currently, only a few estheticians are operating in the Eastern Panhandle. These established studios have garnered loyal clientele over the years. My aim isn't to divert their customers, but rather to provide a haven for new clients. While the estheticians within a 20-minute radius offer commendable services, Sagittarius Aesthetics distinguishes itself by specializing in medical-grade skincare instead of a holistic approach. Having experienced the limitations of all natural products, I understand that they may not be suitable for everyone. As the industry becomes more saturated with competitors, offering unique services is imperative. Our commitment to customizing each service to meet our clients' specific needs sets Sagittarius Aesthetics apart. Recognizing that skincare is not one size fits all, we tailor our approach accordingly. Furthermore, Sagittarius Aesthetics plans to introduce a range of customer-centric initiatives, including a reward program, referral incentives, and a monthly membership program. One common challenge for small businesses, particularly in the esthetician industry, is a lack of emphasis on business management skills in their training. While obtaining an esthetician's license doesn't require a college degree, mastering the business side of running a studio is crucial. My background in business administration, coupled with a minor in entrepreneurship, has equipped me with the necessary skills and strategies to navigate the complexities of entrepreneurship successfully. My education has provided a solid foundation for establishing and growing a profitable business. Here you will see data from the U.S. Census Bureau shows that the Eastern Panhandle has been ranked the highest for growth in the state. The beauty industry itself is thriving, boasting a staggering $532 billion in revenue. The esthetician industry has experienced rapid growth over the past 4 years, and that is a trend that is projected to continue. You will also see here, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the esthetician industry will expand by 9% through 2032. At Sagittarius Aesthetics, our pricing strategy aligns closely with competitors. Given our status as a newly established venture, our initial prices will be slightly lower, yet still within the industry standard. As we gain experience and establish ourselves over the first year, pricing adjustments will be made based on business performance and service expertise. We aim to maintain reasonable pricing, ensuring that clients can afford regular visits rather than just the occasional indulgences. Regarding startup expenses, an in-home studio eliminates overhead costs such as rent. However, investments will be made to add a half bathroom to the studio, as well as investments for essential equipment and supplies. Administrative expenses cover legal and accounting fees and prepaid insurance, while inventory investments are initially kept minimal to gauge client preferences before expanding. Advertising and promotional expenses will encompass signage, business card printing, and online advertising, with a significant portion allocated for additional training opportunities. Initial sales are forecasted to be modest in the first few months, gradually increasing as the business gains traction and clientele. Service costs are estimated at half the retail price, with potential shifts to higher price brands based on clients' preferences. While Sagittarius Aesthetics anticipates a gradual start, our long-term vision includes expanding to a storefront to accommodate growing clientele and provide employment opportunities for more estheticians. Through continuous learning and staying ahead of industry trends, Sagittarius Aesthetics will succeed in the aesthetics world and be a tough competitor. Our mission is to invest in our clients' health, well-being, and confidence, ensuring their satisfaction and trust in our services. We will use any prize money for this competition and other sources to bolster and speed up our already underway plan to enter the industry. Thank you.
Mr. Turner, if you'd like to start us, and if neither you or Mr. Stone have an additional question, you can borrow one from Mr. Levine.
Let's keep this over here. Thank you for your time today and coming out and sharing your ideas with us. I'm familiar with this industry in that in the work I do due diligence on potential investments for a network of investors. And so even though I may not be your ideal client. So with that, tell me a little bit about let me back up. Some of the competitors I've seen in the marketplace that are attempting to do some things similar to you, they definitely want to educate, right? They've got products they want to sell and they provide services. Talk to me a little bit about the size of the market where you're seeking to operate, and if you have intentions of growing beyond just having your physical location there and perhaps offering some sort of online programming as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So in our area, there's only currently one place where you can go to esthetician school, and they just actually opened up another school. So it's kind of expanding. It started off slowly in West Virginia. In my area, there's probably maybe 5 esthetician studios that I've researched, probably within like a 30-minute radius. I'm expecting in the next year or so, with another school being added, that it'll expand even more. I definitely want to start small so I don't overwhelm myself, but I would eventually like to open up a storefront and then potentially open up something for other estheticians when they get out of school to kind of rent a space so they're not overwhelmed and they don't start, failing before they even get their feet on the ground.
Okay, it works. This is fantastic. I can tell you this is yet another thing I see that I think like I kind of need. And when I see things like this, I think to myself that there are places in the country and around the world, indeed, where this has just been ubiquitous. This is just part of life. It's just gone on. And I don't necessarily mean like California, San Fran, like, we're going to look good for the movies kind of thing. Like, we know you get those little white dots in your eye. It drives my wife crazy. It's difficult to get attention from medical professionals on this because they look at it as what? Aesthetic, right? It's not purely aesthetic. Sometimes it's functional, it's frustrating, it activates, better outcomes if you can get to the other side of it,
Correct.
right? Better attitude, a better spirit, right? And so that's what leads me to think about these, holistic approaches that have kind of started to saturate our region. I think of one who practices more of a holistic Chinese-based medicine, Dr. Skip. He's here in Huntington. They're a little off the left field. They do some fantastic work, and they came here from Dallas, Texas, and they wanted to set up something new and different here in Huntington, and it has been very successful and very well received. One of the principal outreaches they did were to veterans because a lot of their work speaks to pain and pain management in ways different than opioids. You can imagine that you can create some cool opportunities there.
Definitely.
That's what I'm looking for from you, is like, what is that thing? I mean, even if it was an educational YouTube channel, it feels like you're creeping up on this beautiful aesthetic yourself in terms of this brand. There is no reason why you can't burst on the scene and look like a franchise model, even though you're not. And there is no reason why you shouldn't be charging top dollar if you're doing so. I say this as a kid who was on a carpet cleaning truck at 13 and was in that business for 7 years and was the CFO by the time I left. We wore clip-on ties, we had shoe covers, we did immaculate treatment, and we charged top dollar and we made good money. We weren't even competing with the Stanley Steamers of the world, right? So I think you get a little bit less concerned about what's going on in the market and start to look at the other things that are rising around you and grab those coattails and become part of that scene. What if you offered services to retreats, to gatherings, right? Where you can educate folks and make good money while you're there, providing services to the participants, maybe as an elective or a breakout or something of the sort. So start to reach out and try to find some of these really creative ways that you're going to make good money to keep the business rolling. And then think about like your own aesthetic. That would be my points of focus for you. And if you have any thoughts on that, please share.
Yeah, so I've actually thought about potentially going to, like a girls' night or just kind of like a gathering in a house, almost like a Tupperware party, but just for aesthetics. I just have to look
Brilliant.
into if I'm allowed to go to someone else's home, set up my supplies and do that. I was just concerned more that aspect. I also thought of, a few girlfriends that are having a birthday party or whatever, kind of just doing like a group thing where I can do masks or chemical peels. My only struggle
Yeah.
was I'm just by myself currently. So that would be kind of something that I would hope to do once I open a storefront and I have more employees. That way we could kind of just do that together.
Well, don't wait. I mean, if what's missing is a person that you can pay to be there to assist during one of these events, I mean to tell you, it could be a gateway to absolutely everything you're talking about.
Maybe I could collaborate with other estheticians in the area, so
Yeah.
we could, just kind of tackle that together without
Nice.
waiting. You're right, without waiting for myself to have a storefront.
Perfect. And I've left you some notes here too. So wonderful job.
Okay,
I think
thank
it's
you.
fantastic. You can't launch this fast enough. Please, hurry.
Thank you.
I thought you were I didn't think you were joking. I thought I actually did. Okay, gotcha. I did take it serious. On your startup expenses, what was your source for those expenses? How did you come up with those numbers?
Let me go back. So leasehold improvements, the 10,500 would just be for a half bathroom. Since I don't have to pay rent costs, I kind of looked up the average. It was between 5,000 and 15, so I just kind of went a little bit more so in the middle. Capital equipment mostly is I need like a table, preferably a comfortable one so my clients aren't in pain when they're laying down. A hydrofacial machine, which is pretty expensive, can be 3,000, and just other supplies to keep on hand that I will have to use in my everyday. Location and administration expenses, that was really more so towards additional training. So once I get out of esthetician school, you're able, once you have your esthetician's license, you're able to get additional training and certified in other specialties. So this means like whatever is trending, I can also train myself in that for my clients. And then opening inventory, I started at 1,000 just because since I am just starting out, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like the product and also if my client's gonna like the product, if that's gonna be their preference or what's gonna sell most. Is it gonna be a facial cleanser? Is it gonna be a moisturizer? If they don't like that brand, I don't wanna put too much money into that. And then promotional expenses, that's really just going to be social media, printing business cards, maybe attending different conferences or, so yeah, so that was kind of like my rough startup expense.
I would suggest maybe putting more money towards the advertising and promotional expense. As you're trying to break into a market, you're an unknown thing, and it's going to take some time to create some of that positive forward momentum as you're bursting onto the scene, as Deacon was suggesting that you should do.
Okay.
All right.
Noted, thank you.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Brittany. Excellent job. Let's see. All right, next up is CJ Fazio and Dom Konopka from Marshall University. They have a concept named Konaz. They were our first place winner last night. And as they make their way to the stage, I want to compliment Brittany for pronouncing the two hardest words in the language presently, entrepreneurship and aesthetics. Dom and CJ, welcome.
There we go. Can we? Am I on? There we go. Okay. Have you ever had a shower thought that you wanted to turn into reality? Dom and I have taken our post-practice shower thoughts and turned them into a sweet and simple product.
America struggles to eat healthy daily. Many people who are diabetic or health conscious are always looking towards better alternatives for foods. As for me and CJ, we love ice cream.
Especially Dom.
But what we love more is our health and nutritional high protein goals.
Traditional ice cream fails to meet this objective. Having extremely high calorie counts and sugar content, this is a metabolism killer.
But in our post-practice shower talks, we came up with the perfect solution.
Introducing to you our very own house-made creation, Konaz Protein Ice Cream. We planned on having samples for you guys, although what would be better than a protein-packed morning sweet treat? However, the judges and our audience last night loved the product so much that they ate all of our inventory. So now you're gonna have to trust us and some of our testimonials on how delicious our product is.
Konaz Protein Ice Cream is an ice cream that is jacked with protein. Totally organic, that keeps your body happy and healthy. We can collaborate with various retailers to stock our high protein ice cream in their stores and supermarkets just like Walmart and Kroger.
We could also introduce our product into gyms and fitness centers where consumers can just grab and go on their way out, where health and wellness is already a top priority.
We could also consider bringing our product into already established brick and mortar stores where people can walk in and enjoy a delicious sweet treat at their local creamery.
Our goal is to maintain the deliciousness of our all-organic product while keeping it low in calories and nutritionally balanced. Eventually, we're going to offer multiple flavors to cater to everybody's different preferences and provide a high-quality protein that doesn't have that typical bland taste of a protein shake.
Who here thinks they know how many Americans have a gym membership?
Anybody? 50 million? Oh, okay.
That's a pretty good
that's
guess, actually. It's 64 million, and given that 1 of every 5 Americans have a gym membership, we will have the ability to partner with a substantial amount of possible customers through gyms.
We also cater to a community of over 650,000 college and pro athletes who have these same sweet treat desires, but also need to keep in mind their nutritional goals to maintain peak physical condition for their sport.
Our product isn't just for people who are health nuts or gym rats. It's also for people who need our product. You see, there's 38.4 million Americans who have diabetes who are looking for alternatives to desserts to become or stay healthier without affecting blood sugar levels.
Clearly, people have these sweet treat desires as the ice cream market itself has a valuation of over $80 billion. The protein supplement market also has a valuation within the billions of dollars.
And then the healthy ice cream market is currently valued at $23 million and is expected to double within the next decade. With our unique product that stands out in the market, we have the potential to demonstrate the success that other products have achieved that is similar to ours before. There is no product like ours nationwide, and we can just prove how our market can flourish just like others have.
We would be foolish to not fully utilize social media and influencers as they are a top branding and advertising strategy in today's society. Advantageously, me and Dom are athletes here at Marshall, so we have strong connections within the athletic community. Collaborating with athletes would not only benefit them with NIL, but also position our product in a place where health and wellness is already a top priority.
Promoting our product at social events like powerlifting meets, CrossFit competitions, and even track meets is another significant strategy in showcasing our commitment to keeping people happy and healthy through our product. Understanding how we would brand our product is only half the battle. The other half is truly noting that our product is better than the rest. And that's why we compared it to 3 leading healthy ice cream brands.
Kona fills the gap in the market by adding an organic, protein-focused product while still keeping calories and carbs to a minimum. Here we have a macro breakdown of per pint of Kona's and the 3 brands mentioned on the last slide. Kona's is highly balanced, providing a great mix of all the essential macros. This makes it the most nutritious option. The highlighted feature is the protein content, a key focus in our protein ice cream. There's currently no nationwide product that rivals our protein content.
This is a high-end product that will have a high-end price, but it is worth every penny. Our current cost to make this product is $4.91 per pint. The biggest portion of our cost is the protein levels, which is 62% of our total breakdown. We're currently searching for someone to partner with to create our own protein formula so then we can drive our costs down and our margin percentages way up.
But of course, none of this is possible without money. So we wanted to give a little portion to dedicate to show how we would spend an investment of $3,000.
To start, we would use around 5% of it to buy more ingredients so we can perfect our formula.
After finding a commercial-ready product, we would use 42% of that money to get all the necessary lab testing done to put this product on the shelves.
And lastly, after our product is formulated and lab tested, we're going to use the remainder 52% to buy a commercial-grade ice cream machine.
Our product is truly someone and no one has done before. We're adding a brand new product to a growing market, and we know with our connections and with the help of you guys, we can make Kona's a name that everybody recognizes. So if anybody has any ideas or questions, feel free to contact us or scan our QR code. And thank you. Questions?
Totally cool. I love it.
Thank you.
You guys are great. You're in a great spot. So what I would say at this point is I want you to go inside the story of somebody who's eating your product. I don't care if they just walked their dog and they pulled off at a custard stand. They're like, oh, I had no idea there was such a thing. If they finished at the gym and they happen to have a little diner type area of low-cal treats. And I want you to tell the story, as many stories as you can, of what we call the customer journey. That is, I got up, I showered, I walked my dog every day, I went here and I went there. Tell the story, and then I had this wonderful ice cream. And now, answer how that ice cream got into that cooler. And you have just closed the loop, right?
Yeah.
So you need to see those loops before you can decide to go for them. You can use something like a lean business model canvas as kind of a context to capture a lot of these things, the channels by which things get to and from places. I love a good lean business model canvas. It's great, but it's a little too dry for me. So I put it in the background, I still do it, but I start with a customer experience. Because if we do and we're telling a story from someone's perspective, the first thing we have to do is achieve empathy. Got to put ourselves in their shoes. Who is he or she? Do they have a family? How many 0.5 kids do they have? Do they own dogs? This is that classic, what can be a dry exercise. And I think that's a way to make it fun and kind of shake it up. I primarily see this as a marketing and branding endeavor, I hate to say. If it's a good product and it tastes good, that's a requisite. I'm going to trust you, as you said.
Well, we
Right?
actually have people who actually tried our ice cream here, like Professor.
It was there, I was there, I just didn't make the connection. That's where my 50 million joke came from.
Gotcha. Yeah, I
I just
understand.
love your performances. I wanted to be part of the performance. And so, yeah, I think it's not insignificant. I think it's plausible and real. And the final thing I'll say is you need to connect to the Shape Shop. This is Millie Snyder and the maker of the Dippy Doo low-calorie ice cream treat. She brought Weight Watchers to West Virginia over 40 years ago and then founded the Shape Shop in Charleston. She has a food truck. She called us at the manufacturing center trying to get into more Kroger's. Now she's in scores of Kroger's and 175 Par-Mar stores in Ohio, West Virginia, and Kentucky. A lot of that because of some of the manufacturing methods that we brought to her and some real lean business work. So she's divesting, she's done, she wants to sell everything. Food truck, location, low calorie, meals prepared, contracts for production of an ice cream treat for Kroger, for Par-Mar, et cetera. She's looking to get out.
Okay.
Great, that's
That's great to
great
know.
information
Thank
to
you.
know. Thank you very much.
We appreciate
So
it.
yeah, those kind of opportunities. So allow me to connect you. I'll put some notes on the page for you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
So I agree that this is a marketing and branding exercise. You know, you're entering a market that is crowded with competitors that average people might see as quite similar to what you're offering, except for the niche of the athletes and those that are truly seeking the health benefits that your product is proposing to provide. So working on the demand stimulation aspect and standing out in the marketplace is going to be critical. You noted that, I recall, maybe 2 or 3 different areas where you might do this or you might do that. I would encourage you to really focus in on what is going to be your beachhead for landing in the marketplace, because otherwise you may find yourself vacillating between should we do this, should we do that, should we do this other thing, and all of your efforts are going to be spread across many different areas, and you won't get a concentration of effort in any one place.
Yeah.
And so your resources are going to be spread thin early, time, money. Find a place that makes sense to focus and penetrate there, and then you can always expand there. It sounds like Deacon's got some good opportunities for you for finding someone with whom you might be able to partner. Trying to get shelf space in major retailers is much more difficult and more time-consuming than people realize. So, doing your research and understanding what that might take.
Yeah.
Considering places where you might install your product while also thinking about what you have to give up in return. What benefit is there to the gym for offering your product? What's in it for them? So thinking about some of these aspects of the whole exercise as you continue to move through the process. But your product does seem interesting, and now it's a matter of telling stories and getting people to buy into what it is that you're offering. And it's not just about the protein content, right? So collecting the stories, distributing the stories, allowing other people to come along on the journey that of your brand as it develops, I think will be critical.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Excellent job, guys. And I will say, I will be the taste tester and say it is delicious for those of you who have not tried it yet. It really is. And this really leads me into really kind of touching on something that Deacon mentioned. Well, actually, both of you mentioned. I do also see this as a marketing and branding issue. And I think, just in terms of taking the lean approach, you guys can utilize your experimentation phase to, really kind of akin to, what happened during the Cola Wars, a blind taste test. What do you mean? This tastes like this and it's healthy? Because that taps into the emotion. As you can probably tell, I'm not an athlete, and if it's a situation that you can convince someone like me to buy your product based upon the surprise that it tastes so good, tap into that emotion and use those customer or experiences.
Yeah,
I think that's a great idea.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, fellas. Next up is Miguel Aguilar and Daniel Godovich from Shepherd University with the CM Solution.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Miguel.
And I'm Daniel Godavich.
Daniel and I both are both undergrad students at Shepherd University focusing on entrepreneurship. Daniel and I also share a common background working in the construction industry. Working in this industry, Daniel and I both know how important it is to have a toolbox with the right tools to get the job done. Making this connection to the business world, Daniel and I realized while there's many resources for veterans currently out there, they're often fragmented throughout the market, with many of them being underutilized because veterans don't know that they exist or they cannot find them. Among veterans who do start their businesses, most don't start them till 9 years after military separation and still have problems finding resources, accessing capital, finding networks, and accessing mentors for their business. Introducing CM Solutions, a free comprehensive machine learning and artificial intelligence platform created for veterans by veterans. Our platform empowers and supports veterans, every entrepreneur in ideation, launching, and growing their business. Taking advantage of current available resources, CM Solutions connects the dots for veterans by creating a one-stop shop for all their business needs. With CM Solutions, every veteran can continue mission with their entrepreneurial journey, knowing that it's supported with clarity, community, and ease.
With our research, we found we needed to target 3 markets, the first being veterans. We wanted to make sure our product was free, so that way we could help reduce any additional costs that veterans may face when starting their businesses. We also wanted to make sure they had direct access to resources and business tools to acquire funding. Our second target market would be investors. We wanted to make sure investors had access to a talented pool of individuals that could help them diversify their portfolio and improve financial returns. Our third target market would be partnering organizations. We wanted to ensure that partnering organizations would be able to connect with other veterans and build their brand visibility and the target market. Well, connect with the target market as well. And one other thing I wanted to add to this is our partnering organizations would consist of nonprofits, small businesses, and governing entities.
To talk about the demand, there's currently approximately 16.2 million veterans in the United States today. Of those veterans, 1.9 currently own veteran-owned businesses that are responsible for generating about $1 trillion and employing 3.3 million employees. Based on these statistics and findings, we estimate, and the findings that about half of veterans struggle with accessing resources, we estimate our currently veteran-owned business user base to be about 1 million, and then it's limitless for the amount of new veteran-owned businesses that are going to be created.
And then we decided to use the blue ocean strategy here. And as you can see, we have 3 competitors over here, the yellow and the light blue there and the red that's kind of a square back there. They're all very priced highly, and they serve the whole market. While with us, our competitive advantage is going to be that we're free and we're going to be veteran focused. So therefore, we're going to be entering into a niche, and we're also going to be providing our veterans with access to mentors, which some of these other platforms are not doing.
So to develop our product, we're going to take a two-phase approach. The first phase is going to be to develop our minimum value product. And while the price tag does seem high, it is going to have artificial intelligence built into it, and rather than being generic like ChatGPT, we're gonna spend the money up front to develop it into a well-thought-out product that takes the data from different veterans, puts it into the system, and puts out quality results connected with various resources. So the $300,000 would include our software development, design, and our marketing campaign, which we do plan on increasing that as well. Phase 2 would be taking the data and feedback that we get from our customer base, refining our product into one finalized plan that can be used by our super users. So to generate revenue to support this program, we plan on generating revenue through advertising fees that our partnering organizations are going to be able to connect directly to our user base and do business-to-business transactions, which will also be collecting fees through there. And phase 2, we're hoping to add value-added products such as certifications that veterans can take, as well as premium one-on-one business consulting that they can pay for at an additional fee. We do have a live prototype right now that you can go on to. There you'll find many different business planning tools that we're all familiar with right now, but this just goes to highlight the problem in the current market, that obviously we know what a business plan is. We know different financial tools, but a veteran getting straight out of the military that might not have this background that wants to start their business, with this app, they'd be easily able to connect to it, click on something, learn about it, start working on it, and with the AI that's not available yet on there, it'll start filling out some of that for them. And down at the bottom, I already have started working with some businesses that are seeking different solutions, whether it's growing their business or marketing. The demand's already out there. With this being said, we thank you. Pending any questions, this does conclude our presentation.
Thank you.
So I have a connection for you too, and that is a friend and colleague of mine who moved on through the SBDC to now work with the U.S. Military Authority in Charleston,
Okay.
West Virginia, and his job is to get veterans who come to the state plugged into the system of benefits that they themselves may not even know exists. And it's crazy. You pull back the curtain. And at the Advanced Manufacturing Center, we'll take folks through our machining courses and then be like, OMG, you're a veteran, you qualify for all these SBA and other kind of loans, and help to make them have the business acumen to endure and to hold up and to capitalize on those opportunities, which we do through referral a great deal.
Right.
Final point is, I think that there are countless endeavors that are intending to benefit veterans, but they often lack the last mile solution. So again, there's all these loans, all these programs, military authority, et cetera. One way they're trying to make it practical is on Smith Street across from Capitol Market in Charleston. They're opening what will essentially be a makerspace for veterans. You need to be connected to and know that that kind of work is going on here. That there are endeavors being made to pierce that veil and get something practical in the hand of veterans, right?
Right.
And then to pull the curtain back and retain their attention as they move forward. And we work as part of that system to say, hey, you can come over and get a cert, you can get an educational credit, et cetera. All of that stuff you should be aware of, because all of those represent potential stakeholders who see the pool of veterans that you will collect as valuable. And I dream of a platform in which you don't have to sell any advertising whatsoever, that you are the last mile solution for all the programs that exist and are growing by the day.
Right.
So that's a piece of my vision, and I'll take your feedback on that, please.
I really do appreciate that. That's been one thing that we've been kind of formulating with working on this, is there's obviously we can take the advertising approach, but also just working with super users, SBA and stuff, because I know transitioning out of the military myself, you go through SFL TAP and they tell you there's boots to business and that's about as far as it goes. And I put that resource in the app, but that would be one cool thing to where, you're getting out of the military and they can just tell you, hey, this app's out there and you can go on it and it, you're connected to all these resources. Yeah. And with the AI that we're hoping to put in here, it'll collect those demographics.
Yep,
Let's say we're going to West Virginia. Well, you're instantly connected to get a loan, to get grants, to get the education, the different benefits. So I really do appreciate the connection.
And I appreciate like that power of those artificial intelligence tools to work through reams of data in light of what someone says is their point of focus and what they're interested in, because that illustrates the reality of the situation. There are lots of opportunities. I can't reach them. I don't know about them. They haven't been marketed to me. So it could start with something as simple as a veteran asking the question, and then the curtain's been pulled back, right? And I think your app stands a chance of being a gateway to that opportunity. Good
Thank
work.
you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Preliminary question. Daniel, are you also ex-military?
No, I'm currently not. I've never actually been in the military, but
Oh.
my brother's going into it, and I've known Miguel for a bit now, and I've just kind of shared that
Okay.
similar understanding of it.
Okay. Miguel, thank you for your service, for
Thank you.
sure. And Daniel, your families as well. Real quick question. How would you, because I love what you're doing. One comment is you did not mention, unless I missed it, either last night or today, that you are military. And that's something I would put up front, mention that. And then you guys are obviously, you have the potential to offer a lot of opportunities, a lot of information. Think about, and I'm not going to put you on the spot and say come up with something right now, but think about how you could narrow what this app is in one sentence. Because you're the AI, you're going into all these different features. Focus on the benefit and try to come up with a concise way to bang. This is what this is. This is what this offering is all about. So,
Thank you.
yeah, really good.
Hey guys, I'm going to build on that just a tad. So I've spent a good deal of my professional career working in the startup business arena, helping people take ideas and turn them into businesses and then grow them into something that's sustainable. And so a huge issue is, as Kevin was saying, when you're trying to be if you're trying to be all things to all people, the message of what you truly do gets lost. And many times when I first meet with an entrepreneur, I spend so much of my time just trying to figure out exactly what is going on with them, assessing their current needs and where it is they're trying to go. Because too often, what they think they need is not even close to what they truly need. So we've got to peel back the onion and really get to ground level and figure out what actually is the issue. And so as quickly as you can begin to distill what is your offering and make it easy for people who come onto your platform to grasp what value is going to be delivered by coming onto your platform, it's going to be critical. Same for any partners you may seek to collaborate with. What value do you bring to them? What's in it for them? And what's in it for the populations that they serve? Quick, clean, clear, concise messaging is going to be, I think, very, very critical. Also thinking through your revenue streams. You mentioned there were several. I don't know how much, we can talk offline about this.
Right.
Be curious how much work you've put into really thinking through what are those defined revenue streams and what does that look like over the course of projections. Because as you're thinking about investment, you may be going through multiple rounds of investment as you seek to get to the end of the line, which may be an acquisition event. You'll need some guidance or may need some guidance on thinking through how those multiple rounds would occur. How would you even entertain investment from, especially if you're seeking private capital, what might that look like?
Right.
Because if you can't get to an acquisition event, then the private equity investors will not invest because they have no way of getting their money back out of it. So just thinking through starting with the end in mind and then backing into what's it going to take to get there. But starting now, thinking about that now. Don't wait till later because you've got to build towards that acquisition from the beginning or else you may never get there. But I'm happy to talk with you offline about some of those thoughts.
I would like to talk to you offline. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for your time.
Yeah, thank you again.
Thank you, Miguel and Daniel, for a really good presentation. Really interesting topic, big problem, big opportunity. Let's see. Representing West Virginia Wesleyan is Alicia Taylor, who has a concept called Emotionally Prepared. Please welcome Alicia to the stage. Sure. Can I turn that to you?
All right, hello. My name is Alicia Taylor, and I am presenting to you Emotionally Prepared. There are 6,153 children in foster care in West Virginia. 16,757 grandparents are raising their grandchildren. And 12.2% of newborns had in utero exposure to drugs. There are programs in West Virginia, such as Expanded School Mental Health, that reach children in school to provide mental health care, but there's no funding from that program or other programs to meet the needs of younger children. So, our goal as a nonprofit is to teach children how to play together, how to show emotion, self-control, and help with emotional delays. We want to provide health care for children, affordable health care, for people who are above the poverty line but don't make enough money to actually give back to their children the resources that they may need. This would also limit the number of children that need services in schools so they can experience learning opportunities that they need. Our target market is for children who are developmentally delayed, may need help learning to socialize, and are in need of mental health care. We are for families that are not only in poverty, but also families that cannot afford the services that their children may need. Any child that has been affected by mental health issues, family trauma, and/or are under the school age would benefit from our service. There are programs and funding and grants that are provided in West Virginia, as well as by the government, national government, such as the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the National Institute of Mental Health Small Business Innovation Research, as well as finding donations from community members, such as having, places for donations, as well as doing fundraisers and such. Our competitive advantage is that there are groups such as Head Start and Expanded School Mental Health, but neither of those focus on younger children. They all focus on reaching children once they get to school or once they reach a certain age for school. But we would be able to develop opportunities for children to grow and develop their emotional skills before entering the school system. This would help with behavioral issues, mental health issues, and trauma, and allow them to have more in-classroom experience and keep them on the same level or ahead of their peers, rather than pulling them out of the classroom for 30 to 45 minutes 2 to 3 times a week in order to get services. So, as I stated, Expanded School Mental Health has reached 23 counties in West Virginia. But our program could work to reach at least 30% of the students that they work with before they enter the school age. I've been in contact with the person in charge of our counseling program at West Virginia Wesleyan College for the master's program, and discussed how students in that program could receive clinical hours by working at our clinic. This would allow for those students to get the services, or children to get the services that they need, as well as allow for the students in the program to get their clinical hours in order to further their education. Looking at the cost, that's a lot. But what I'm looking at right now is finding research and development, finding out what has worked in the past and what hasn't, and tailoring our services to figure out what will work and what won't for these students, and finding them at a younger age by asking pediatricians, parents, and possibly daycare employees. I myself work at a daycare, and I have seen children trying to stay ahead, trying to stay caught up, but they need extra services that I myself cannot provide. My mom she was a first grade teacher for the longest time, and one of the frustrations that she always told me about was students are being pulled from the classroom and they're falling behind because they're not learning their receiving these extra services. And while that is important for these children to get serviced, it's also important that they learn so that they have a chance to be successful in life just as their peers.
Because I'm sensing we need to be quick. Man, I'm sitting here the whole time like, what is this thing? What do you want to do? And then I see R&D. I think, yeah, you may have access to some grant opportunities, especially as a nonprofit. But I'll tell you right at the tail end, it's like, mom's a teacher, you work at a daycare. I'm sorry, I needed that connection at the top. I want to know who you are. Why do you care about this? Like, where did you come from, right? In that, I'll guarantee you there's a story or two. What, little Billy, little Janie, et cetera, right? That you can connect us, and then show us how you're improving that outcome. I'm not even sure what metrics you're measuring. And while I appreciate the numbers about foster care, like foster care is not a problem. That's a solution. And in fact, what you're kind of showing is that the individuals in those circumstances are, for lack of a better term, your customers, right? So we can connect to and understand that there's a heart and soul thing here happening. And in fact, if you want to pursue a nonprofit direction, you're going to have to tell that story. You're going to have to pluck some heartstrings. But on the other side of that heart, people need to see something very practical. Great work. It's like all right there. And we might need to reorganize it a little bit and think about to whom you are marketing and who it is you're serving. Connect us to that. Thank you.
So I've done a great deal of work in the nonprofit consulting space, and especially with mental health, substance use disorder, things like that. So I'll be happy to chat with you after this.
Yeah,
Got some
of
ideas for
course.
you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Last, certainly not least, is Bella Schrader representing Marshall University with concept of Give It a Go. Let's welcome Bella to the stage. I did not. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good. It's all good. I first wanted to, oh, I'm pretty short. Okay. I first wanted to start off by showing you a problem that I recently had. I started learning how to crochet a few months ago, and this was the very first project that I did. I followed a YouTube video super closely, and all in all, it took me about 8 hours. I was super excited, and I could not wait to move on to the next project, and that's when I realized that I had actually done it completely wrong. And that made me wonder if this problem could be more widespread. A lot of times when people are trying to learn new hobbies, YouTube tutorials can be complicated, conflicting, and online tutorials like WikiHow can be very confusing and technical, which results in something like this. And that is where Give It a Go comes in. When you go to YouTube and you search how to learn to crochet, a ton of videos pop up, with the top one having over 30 million views. So that shows that this is a very popular market and people are really interested in it, but the current methods of learning how to do this hobby along with many other skills is very fragmented and not individualized. Give It a Go is an all-in-one dashboard for learning new hobbies at your own pace while also interacting with your community at the same time. So as you can see on here, you can do the relative difficulty level of a hobby, the price that it would take you to start up, and how many people on the app are currently doing that hobby at the same time. The courses would be very easy to go through and would progress from the most fundamental of steps all the way up to certain projects. And one of the most interesting aspects of the app is the community engagement feature. So as you can see here, the first project would be a hat, and once you finish that hat, you can tap into the globe feature. That would take you to the community section. Everyone had the same project of doing a hat, but you can see that people put their own personality and flair into each of their designs. And you can even add your own. So that was what it would look like if I did my horrible hat, but imagine that it turned out well. That is what it would look like. Hobbies have been increasingly popular over the past few years, and there's a few reasons for that. So first, as we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic led to a period of isolation, and in that, a lot of people tried to do things to pass the time, one of which was to learn new hobbies. TikTok, Instagram, and other social medias have also added to this a lot because people in the younger generations tend to go directly to social media when they want to learn new skills. Additionally, there's more accessibility as more hobby and craft stores as well as e-commerce allows people to order materials at a lower price and more easily. And if you think that that's kind of just a blip and it'll go away because of the pandemic, these numbers have actually been on the rise for multiple years prior. As you can see, even before 2020, the sales for toys and hobbies have been increasing, and the pandemic only exacerbated it, and it will continue to grow. There's a lot of market potential for this, specifically in the hobby and craft space, but also just for a lot of hobbies in general. The top 3 players in the game and the top 3 craft stores are Hobby Lobby, Michaels, and Joann's, and combined they generate over $15 billion in revenue a year. There's also a really big market for people who want to learn new things in general. Duolingo is the world's leading language learning app, and they currently have over 70 million monthly users. But I kind of thought that might not be a good example because they are such a big company, so I also looked at a smaller startup called Babbel, and they have 15 million paid subscribers right now. Give It A Go would center around 3 different types of revenue structures. So first would be advertisements, next would be partnerships, and the third would be a freemium subscription model. I was looking at advertisements and how it works for sponsors and found that most time buyers pay depending on the amount of clicks that they get on their ads. And I found that Facebook and Google Ads, which are the 2 most popular platforms, charge between $2 to $3 per click. Since Give It A Go, of course, would be a startup and would not have as big of a reach at first, I decided that 40 cents was more fair for the reach that they would be getting. Next would be partnerships, and this could be through those bigger stores like Joann's or Hobby Lobby, but I would also really like to place an emphasis on smaller local community craft stores. And this would be beneficial for both sides because Give It A Go would give users a discount each time they would finish a project. So for example, you could get 20% off a skein of yarn when you finish your hat and take it to Joann's to get that discount, which would draw traffic into their business. And on their side, they could encourage their users to download our app and could also host in-person events for community meetups for the community engagement feature I mentioned earlier. Next is the freemium subscription model. A lot of mobile apps operate like this, where users can download it completely for free and can always have the app for free, but they will have some limited capabilities. So I decided that this would be if the free service would have 3 hobbies max that you can learn, and you would see advertisements at the end of every project or lesson. However, for the very low price of $3.99 a month, people could get unlimited hobbies and would not get any advertisements. Once I had these revenue structures figured out, I wanted to figure out my expenses as well. So I went with the advertisements and paid subscriptions revenue and also found the fixed and variable costs of tech development and paying content creators. And I would pay content creators based on thresholds similar to how TikTok, Twitch, or YouTube do, where they have to reach a certain number of views before they become monetized. I found that a combination of 200 paid monthly subscriptions as well as 73,000 clicks would allow me to break even within a year. And the 73,000 number might sound like a really, really large number, but when I was doing my research, I saw that sponsors normally get around 100 clicks per day. So even if I only secured 10 sponsorships, they would only need to advertise for a few months out of the year for this to be a break even, which I think is very feasible. I wanted to go over a few Lean Canvas elements that I have not covered yet. So I mentioned a little earlier that Duolingo is a language learning app, and I really see my app as the Duolingo of hobbies. And this is because it's a very centralized platform with small, easily digestible steps, as well as gamification, which has really been big in the business and marketing world lately and involves giving people incentives and just encouraging users to have fun while learning a skill to get them more motivated. Key metrics would of course be downloads of the app, but I would also like to prototype a landing page for the app like you saw a little bit earlier, and then another key metric would be community check-ins on that community page. Finally, our competitors. YouTube and WikiHow are the current competitors that we have. There is also one website called Skillshare that functions kind of more like MasterClass where people can do online courses, but is not focused as much on gamification as Give It A Go would be. And then finally is the currently existing TikTok and Instagram creators, which I would like to do partnerships with versus just having them be competitors. I think a lot of different markets could benefit from Give It A Go. First is just people that love learning new hobbies and that prefer to work independently. I think they would benefit from this because it is very at your own pace and you don't necessarily need to go to these in-person meetup events if you do not want to. College students and Gen Z, I believe, would also love this app because there's a very social aspect of it. They could see their favorite content creators, and they could also see what their friends are posting on the app. A lot of times it can be hard for small businesses to scale, so I created this timeline that would show you the different milestones from having 0 users right now to getting into a few thousand over the next couple years. My final next steps would be to compile videos and reach out to those creators to get those partnerships, then creating the first course, which would be crocheting, and then finally securing advertisements and doing market outreach to really get this off the ground. Thank you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. One.
Yeah, I think it sounds like the solution you're proposing is smoothing the process of learning.
Mm-hmm.
So real quickly, I'll just jump to the conclusion, which is like, what's your secret sauce? I mean, and I don't necessarily mean just what worked for you, but I think you have an opportunity to create that format, because honestly, that's a format that you want people who are creating content for your platform to follow, because it's your proven method. And if you create that system that provides feedback and takes into account, hey, how smooth was the learning here, then you can constantly be changing that model, because that model has to be able to change.
Yeah.
People change, times change, et cetera. And then finally, instead of simply incentivizing these relationships with product makers, yarn and skein makers and crochet needle makers, whomever it may be, or those who are selling it from Hobby Lobby on down, instead of putting that through at the end like a simple, hey, you get a coupon, is there a way to incentivize up front? Can you say, look, I'm going to get your products in the hands of content creators, and you're going to have product placement going on. And so if I want to sign up and teach people how to knit and crochet, I get all this stuff. I feel like I'm one of those YouTube people that are just getting free skateboards and free computers to unbox and talk about online. I think you can create that experience for the people who are actually driving the business, the ones creating the videos, you know? So anything that you've proposed to work on the back end, try it in the front. And look at the system and the model itself that you're pushing this through. I think this is really fertile territory. It's very cool. It has a great look and feel. I think you've done great work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bella, for another excellent presentation. I want to thank all of our participants from West Virginia Wesleyan, Shepherd University, West Virginia University, and Marshall University. These were really fantastic concepts and really well presented. Want to give a special thanks to Professor Tracy Dotson from West Virginia Wesleyan, Professor Jim Dovell from Shepherd University, Alan Beaver at WVU, and all my colleagues in the Lewis College of Business and our panelists this morning. With that, this concludes our part of the competition day here at Bridging Innovation, and hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.